Let me get to these folks over here. Yes, sweetheart. I'm live. What you need from me?
Oh.
Yes, sweetheart.
I wanted to ask because
What do you
I would
need?
ask special drink.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, you said you're the nigga or I did?
You can make it because I'm about to be on live for a little while. So get up. Love you.
Want me to make some for you too?
Yes, please. I'm thirsty. All right, good. I want to say good morning so bad. It is not morning. Good evening, beautiful people. Let me hop on. I've just been testing out other platforms because this is where I want it to stay. Okay. No, we're not doing TikTok. I'm just waiting on a couple of y'all to hop in real quick and then we get this party started. I don't want to be on there either. Hello, beautiful people. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I'm not going to say good morning. Good evening, Dominators. Okay. Let's get this party started. I want to... Happy Wednesday. You see I made you moderator, right? Because, child, you know. But we are heading into the second day of our first fruit fast for the month of May, which is 7 days instead of 3. I know the Lord called an audible. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen every time. I'm going to listen. One thing I'm going to do is listen to the Lord. Yes, I'm going to listen to the Lord. All right, so I'm going to try this. I'm just experimenting with my phone, so I don't know. Who knows where I'll be, but YouTube is a thing. We're going to stay here, okay? Today, we are focused on our second day, and I'm super stoked. Y'all are vegetarians for the next 7 days, okay? So we are turning over our plates from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Unless, you know, doctor has said something otherwise, that sort of thing. And we are hearing from the Lord. We are trusting and obeying Him. When I tell you God is moving, things that have already been happening for me. I got to send out 2 invoices today. Remind you, I'm not advertising, okay? I just made the decision. Okay, God, I hear you. I'm going to go ahead and get back in the game. It's happening, okay? So, I just want to call that out. I'm super stoked about. I really am not feeling this. I don't know. I don't like it, though. I really don't like it. So, yeah, we're just going to be here. I didn't like the way that angle was hidden. It didn't look good to me. I wasn't a fan. Anywho, let's go ahead and delete that.
Which pump do we use?
The one in the truck, water. The carbonated one. Girl, I'm live. Go figure it out or you gotta wait. Cheese and crackers. Anywho, this has been a very eventful fast and we're only on the second day. Okay, we're just wrapping up day 1. We're in day 2. And the Lord has just been sharing with me. Promotions are coming. It's so funny because I just keep hearing that lady on TikTok when she says, congratulations, you are now my new elite employee. Yeah, like you're God's elite employee. And so the thing with God, and when He is moving, He only moves with someone He can use. He only moves with someone that's going to be obedient. And so your blessings are a result of that. And so, you know, on Sunday we were talking and we were like, you know, going over the parable of the talents, and I titled it, What's in Your Wallet? Okay, well, the Lord was like, go back to that because we got some more talking to do. And I said, all right, you know, you run the ship. It's your show. Let's talk about that thing. So I wanted to still come at that scripture, but from a different angle. The Lord just was talking to me about it, and I gotta share with y'all. Okay, so we are going to the key scripture, Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. And I got the King James Version handy. And it says, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who has called his servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. And straightway took his journey." He said, "All right, here go your talents. I'm going to go ahead and head out." Okay. Verse 16. "Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them other 5 talents." Okay, so he flipped his work and got a return on the investment. Verse 17 says, "And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained another 2." Okay, and so verse 18 was the one that got me, and it says, "But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them." Okay, so he's coming to settle the balances. And what I saw here was I'm gonna just read and then we'll jump into all of the things. Okay, and so he said that he had received 5 talents, came and brought the other 5 talents, saying, "Lord, thou deliveredest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more." His Lord said unto him, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord." Verse 22, he also that had received 2 talents came and said, "Lord, thou deliveredest." Thank you. You should have brought my pretty cup. Thank you.
That's a pretty cup too.
I know, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Gotta drink when the babies make you stuff. Where was I? "Behold, I gave 2 talents and 2 other talents, and I gained 2 other talents beside them." And then he said, his Lord said unto him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord." Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, "Lord, I knew that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strewn. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine." His Lord answered and said unto him, "Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sow not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury." Okay, "Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath." Okay, "And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth." And I was just like, Lord, it's kind of intense. And so I read that in the King James Version, but I got my good old NLT. That's my job. Love me some NLT. Okay. And so there are 5 points that we are going to go over today. And they're just lessons in stewardship. Okay, so we talk about money, we talk about finances and all the things. That's what this fast is focusing on. And the main thing is we need to learn how to be a good stewards. Okay, we need to be good stewards over what it is that we do have. Okay, not what we don't have, but what we do have. And so the master has given each and every one of us skills, talents, gifts, and abilities. Okay, I got 6-figure student loan debt for a reason. It would be foolish of me not to use the education, the skills, the mastery of the things that I've learned, and not get a return on in the investment, right? Okay. And so we have to steward over the things that we have. I knew coming from where I came from, being one of the first ones to graduate um, college and get a master's degree and so on and so forth, that betting on myself education wise was going to be the game changer for me. Okay. It was going to be the thing that opened up doors that my family had never seen open. And it was going to be the game changer for me and my family financially. Okay. So I knew that I was a learner. That was a skill that I had. And I knew that I needed to use it to multiply. And I love to teach. So whenever I learn something, I teach it to everybody, which is how I got into teaching digital marketing, social media management, coaching, that sort of thing. So you have to steward the things that God gives you. Okay. Um, you're going to be one of the three stewards. Okay. You're going to be the one with 5 talents, 2 talents, or 1 talent. And so let's talk about the 5 lessons in stewardship that we are able to pull out of the text. Okay. So the first one is stewardship requires counting the cost. Okay. When it comes to this faith walk, I don't know why. I don't know why people get excited about the prophets coming. I don't know why they get excited, because most times it's like, that mean you're not listening. That mean you're probably not listening. So there's that. So in your personal and private time, the Lord will speak to you. In your devotion and that sort of thing, the Lord will speak to you. And don't get me wrong, there are times when a prophet is absolutely 100% necessary, but we wouldn't be needed as much if you open up your Bible and read it for yourselves. So there's that. Um, when you are a good steward, you count the cost, okay? One thing you got to know about my A-type, super analytical, glass half empty Pastor John is he going to count the cost. He's going to look at the situation. He's going to look at the best case scenario. He's going to look at the worst case scenario. He's going to try and find something in between. And let's go with the middle of the two that's not super extreme as far as the strategy, okay? When it comes to whatever it is that the Lord is requiring of you, He's asking you to do, you need to count the cost, okay? What I didn't do when I said yes, I gave Him my yes to ministry. I just was being obedient to the Lord, right? I didn't count the cost. I didn't know that was going to cause people to be mad with me. I didn't know that was going to cause people to turn their backs on me. I didn't know that it was going to cause people to betray me. Obviously, they didn't need to be there, right? Your girl just didn't get a warning. Like, I didn't know. I don't come from this world, okay? I didn't choose the thug life. The thug life chose me. God chose me. This was not the world that I come from, okay? And so you need to count the cost when it comes to stewardship. Whatever it is that you're going to do, whether it be a business idea, whether it is marriage, relationships, whatever, you need to be counting the cost, okay? Does this make sense to do? And sometimes it just does not look great on paper. But if the Lord said yes, you need to do it. I'm going to need you to jump off the proverbial cliff and build your airplane on the way down like the rest of us entrepreneurs, okay? Most of us, it just doesn't, we don't know. You just don't know how it's going to end. How do you know? You don't. You don't know until you do it. But you have to count the cost. You have to be prepared. Mentally, you got to count the cost, okay? When you think about just simple logistics of moving your family. If I got to move my family, and don't talk about crossing state lines. And there's so many logistics and there's so much that I need to think about and prepare for when counting the cost, okay? Number one of us will probably have to go first, because there's no way this whole house could get packed up. I can't disrupt my children's life and what they got going on. And I have to make sure that this is going to be a smooth transition. So we're counting the cost when we think about things like that. When opportunities come our way, it has to make sense for the family. If it doesn't make sense for the family, we're not going to do it, because that's our first ministry. So we're always counting the cost. I would get job offers, and I wanted to work, because, hello, you know how hard I work? You know how hard it is to be a stay-at-home mom and not get paid? and it's a thankless job, so nobody thinks you do anything anyway. I was ready, okay? I was ready to go back to work. At least let me get a check for my little eight and skate, you feel me? And it was just one of those things where we counted the cost. It didn't make sense to do. Our family was going to be in a spiritual deficit, and we cared more about that than the money. Like, we knew God could get us the money. Okay, God will take care of our needs. If we are operating in full blown Matthew 6:33, where we're seeking the kingdom first and we're taking care of all of his things, all those other things will be added on to us. Okay, and so we literally had to count the cost. And so I'm challenging you to really be intentional about the things. Count the cost. Count the cost. Yes, I know you can't budget for it all. I know you can't account for it all, but at least when the stuff hits the fan, you have a, I don't want to say a mind, an idea, but you are as prepared as possible versus just being blindsided. And so you have to count the cost, okay? One thing about the master is he counted the cost when he gave each one of the stewards a specific amount of talents, okay? So he knew not to give the person he gave one talent to anymore. They needed to prove themselves with the one talent. He counted the cost, okay? All right, well, let's move on to the second lesson in stewardship. And the second lesson is perspective is key. Okay, you were designed to steward. We were all designed to be stewards. Okay, and that goes all the way back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the flesh and the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Allergy season. What? So yeah, you got to do all these things. You have to have the right perspective because you were designed to steward. God instantly created, okay? We have Genesis 1 creation power within us. We're made in God's image and likeness. When he created all the things, and he created Adam, then he created Eve, and he gave Adam all of the instructions before he, put him to sleep and created Eve. Be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon earth. Hello, dominators. Where do you think I get dominators from? It's what we're supposed to do. And so, if that's what you're supposed to do, you're called to dominate. You're called to be a dominator. You're called to have dominion. That means you have to have the right perspective because you're stewarding over these things. You know that they're not yours, right? So earth is not yours. The money that you get is not yours. So when you want to hold on to the couple of dollars that you have, that's not your money that you holding on tight to. You have to trust that God is going to, when you release it by faith and do what he's told you to do with it, he's going to bring you more. Okay? And so I don't think that my kids are my own. My life is not my own, okay? This is not the life that I was supposed to be living in my mind just based on how I came up and me growing up. But when you look at how good God is and how intentional he is, I'm definitely his. So my life is not my own. I owe my life to him. Okay, my children are not mine. I get to steward over them, but they're God's kids, okay? All five of them, God's kids. And so I've always prayed, even during pregnancy, but afterwards, like, what do you want me to do with these babies? What is the will of their lives? Like, what would you have me to do? Show me what their purpose is. Show me what the call on their life is, so I can begin to like rear them and like steward them and make sure that they're getting trained up and get experience and that comes with trial and error. So sometimes you are going to be putting them in stuff and they're not gonna like it. Like, I made sure to put them in dance. Everybody had to do dance for 2 years because doing dance for 2 years was a lesson in stewardship. It taught them discipline, self-expression, creativity, showing up for yourself, showing up when you don't want to show up, teamwork, communication, collaboration. And so there were so many different benefits that just made sense to do it for 2 years. Once you do that, those values are instilled in you for the 2 years. And so that's why we did it. Perspective is key, okay? And so another scripture that is very, very helpful to me is Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. And the Lord took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. And I thought that was so cute. I think we have to view ourselves as stewards, okay? Oftentimes we don't see ourselves as stewards, we see ourselves as the owner. Um, in real life, God signs the front of the check, you sign the back of the check, okay? And so you get to steward over this money. If you have a business, you get to steward over the people. And yes, you are responsible for everything that happens to them. And so you want to move accordingly, you want to act accordingly, right? But perspective is knowing that you are not in control. God is leasing some power to you. Don't lose your mind because you get a little bit of power. Don't lose your mind because you get a little money. Don't lose your mind because you got a little bit of control, okay? It's very important that you understand that, because if you don't, you'll end up being like the steward who had one talent and then that one gets snatched away because you weren't doing what God would have for you to do in the time that he was going away. Okay. And so that's a demotion. You weren't able to be trusted. Okay. Let's move on to the third stewardship principle. And that stewardship principle is that stewardship requires faithfulness. Yep, just like that. Jesus constantly stressed the importance of stewardship. And the thing about it is, he modeled it in his everyday life, okay? When we look at Luke chapter 22, verse 26, we see he says, But ye shall not be so, but he that is the greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is a chief, let as he that doth serve, okay? Um, Jesus came onto this earth wanting to serve from the beginning to the very end. He was a servant leader. And so, although he had this position and he was elevated when it came to power and ranking, he still submitted himself and came low. He was kneeling down, washing feet, just trying to touch the people. And that's why we need to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. And so it was really, really important for us to see God be faithful on earth. So he sent Jesus. Jesus got to come down here and be faithful on earth. It's very, very important that we, look into those things. Another scripture is John 13, chapter 13, verses 1 through 17. And cheese and crackers, I'm not going to read all of that for the sake of time, but I will get it started at least. And we are going to read from the NLT. And of course, it's Jesus washing his disciples' feet. Now, I don't think pedicures were a thing back here, okay? So they had some biscuits, some dusty crusties, okay? They are walking to and from with, the open-toe sandals. Feet weren't looking nice, okay? They just weren't looking nice, okay? But I just thought that was so cool to see. And so I want to go to I want to go to verse 4. Jesus in John chapter 13. I'm going to just skip to verse 4, but verses 1 through 17 is really, really beneficial for you to just, kind of meditate on. How can you be a servant leader? But verse 4 says, So he got up from the table and took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said unto him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? And Jesus replied, You don't understand now what I'm doing, but someday you will. No, Peter protested. You will never, ever wash my feet. Because they was dusty and crusty, okay? But Jesus replied, Unless I wash you, you won't belong to me. Simon Peter exclaimed, Then wash my hands and my head as well, Lord, not just my feet. And Jesus replied, A person who has bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet. to be entirely clean. And you disciples are clean, but not all of you. For Jesus knew who would betray him, that it was what he meant when he said, not all of you are clean. I mean, Judas wasn't clean though. Just saying. After washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done. I will tell you the truth. Slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them." I mean, do you need a better example? I don't think we can get a better example than that. And so that's why, above all titles, yeah, I'm ordained as a pastor. Yeah, I'm ordained as a prophet and all that stuff. Servant leader is my favorite. I don't care what they get. You know, when they say it outside, I've been in Baptist places, and they are not using those type of titles. You are just gonna be Tricia in these places, okay? You're not even getting the minister, okay? But that doesn't move me because I know why I'm here and I know what I'm here to do. So servant leader is just fine by me. I'm never moved by a title because I'm here to do the work regardless. Okay. And so Jesus was faithful on earth regardless of whatever people thought he was. He didn't that didn't move him. He knew who he was. He knew the power that he possessed and what he could do. But he never let it move him. He always made sure that anytime he was elevated, he came back down to serve. Point number 4, stewardship principle. Stewardship requires taking risks. Now, y'all know last Sunday we talked about this. Hiding your gifts don't please God. Okay? Hiding your gifts don't please God. It is very, very important for you not to, play yourself small. Don't play yourself small when God has given you gifts, skills, talents, and abilities that can really change the world. He's been on me about getting back into social media. Hello, I got a whole certificate in digital marketing. I use it at work. He's like, you can make more money outside of work doing that, right? I'm like, you're right, you're right. Okay, I see what you're doing here. But yeah, it's not about playing it safe. Okay, and so you want to make sure that you are not like the third steward, the one who got the one talent. He played it safe, and it was considered wicked. Let's go back. Let's go back to the text and read what he said, because baby, God was not pleased. He said, "You wicked." I said, "Master, why are you talking like that?" He said, "You are a wicked and slothful servant." That's lazy. God don't like laziness. God don't like laziness. Like y'all talking about God coming from a time where you work 6 days out of the week and you rest on the Sabbath, okay? And I'm talking about like 10, 12-hour days. And we be crying about 8 for 5. So God is not here for the laziness, which is why I'm always like, all right, well, let me go ahead and punch in after work and do my purpose work. And I can punch in on the weekend and do some more purpose work, because God was not playing about laziness. I'm sorry, I'm trying to use my inside voice. I don't mean to be hollering at you. I'm just trying to make sure we all get to heaven. I'm just trying to make sure we all leave this earth empty and give it everything that we got. All the books, all the businesses, all of the music, everything that's in us, we need to birth those things. We don't need to look like everybody else. We already got a Sarah Jakes. We already got a Tiffany Montgomery. We already got a Matthew Stevenson's. We already got a John Eckhart. We already got a Paul Bevere. Like we already got those people. We want you to be you, okay? And so God made you here to be you, and so I think oftentimes we hide, especially when it comes to like institutionalized church. I know when I was coming up with my mentor, even my bishop, rest his soul, he would be like, he would follow me on Instagram, and he, take my posts and give me critiques. And you should say it like this. And you should put it in this many points. You should turn it into an acronym. And I'm like, that's all the things you do. It was like, literally, I live by this mantra. It was like, I likened it to, and he was just doing what he knew, right? And he was my mentor. So he wasn't trying to be malicious. I never took it as that. But it was literally a David and Saul situation. I likened him giving me the feedback as, here's my armor. Here's my armor. You take this big old cup. You take this big old sword and swing it. Well, that doesn't fit me. Nothing about me is traditional. Nothing about my faith walk has been traditional. I didn't do all of the things that he did, and I didn't come up the way that he did, and I didn't have, like, the bishops backing me and that sort of thing. I didn't have any of that. I was literally almost this wild child that just came from out of nowhere, that was like unafraid to say the things. Cause why y'all afraid to say the things? Like, it's the truth. Why are we afraid to say the truth? And so it was like, me and my truth, God's truth, the truth, was like my 5 smooth stones and my sling. And so, nothing that I've ever done has been traditional. The journey has been definitely like forerunner style. Like, I have been paving the way, going the non-traditional way, and then bringing people along for the journey. Like, all right, well, I've paved us this far, and I'm telling you, you can do this way. Like, you don't have to wait on an ordination. You just need to obey the Lord and be obedient to what He's called you to do, and that stuff will come. All those other things will be added as long as you are obedient. Because that's the part that He cares about the most. Because there's some people that's ordained that shouldn't be. I've seen some apostles and some prophets and some pastors, and I'd be like, this prophet is an evangelist. You were never supposed to be ordained as a prophet, but they followed. They had the look and the things, because institutions have prophets, which is why we get into racism, right? Black people can't be racist because you don't have a system or institution to, like, hold people down. You can be prejudiced, but you can't be racist. So when we talk about the religious institutions and systems, there is a certain look that they like. It just is. And there is a certain way that they want you to talk. There's a certain way that you need to be dressing. And I'm pretty sure it's unacceptable, not only for me to have tattoos, but you got one on your hand, girl. You got this. It's so funny. Like, they be like, the word was good, but I seen this right here. Okay. Okay. I seen it too. I don't know what to tell you. So we have to get out of tradition for the sake of tradition, because then it's just religion. And we just talked about that. God doesn't want our lip service. He wants our heart. He wants all of us. He wants you. He wants the weird you. He wants the quirky you. None of this stuff is in my notes. But He wants you. And so that requires taking a risk. Okay, just getting back to the point. I mean, I'm here. I didn't veer off too far, but I'm here. All of that requires taking a risk. Don't be afraid to say the weird thing. That's the truth. Do it afraid. Sometimes you got to do it afraid by faith. Okay, and starting ministry, doing ministry, and then you want me to go an unconventional way. I was grateful when there was a man that finally wanted to stand up and not necessarily defend me, but was in position to defend me. Was like, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and ordain her since y'all wouldn't. It's his birthday today too. I need to reach out. And people don't even like him, and that's cool. But he did what he was supposed to do for me. He did what other people weren't brave enough to do or obedient enough to do, because it was all about obedience. I was always supposed to be ordained, but I was me. I wasn't like the many junior bishops and all those people that would dress in the suits and with the chains and all that stuff. Some of them selling drugs right now. Some of them that don't even believe in the Lord anymore because they made a man their idol. Now, don't get me wrong, the man was awesome. The man was very knowledgeable. I still honor that man's legacy to this day. I got all the CDs. People mad because they can't get them online no more. You can't buy them. I got them. But that's because I was listening and sowing and investing then because I understood the gift that it was. So you got to be afraid to take the risk. You got to be okay being yourself. You have to be okay being who God made you. And just knowing my testimony, I can't be ashamed of how God made me. He made me. Now, have I not evolved? Absolutely, I've evolved. There has been lots of transition. There's been lots of growth. There's been lots of stretching. There's been lots of stretching. Okay, your girl has been through some things and going through some pain. Remember, the trials and the tribulations. They have to change your perspective. It's not to like beat you up and make you docile, but God wants to show you some things. Sometimes you go through things so you can hear from him, but also give up your way. Stop being so stubborn. Give up your way. It doesn't have to be your way. First of all, you are not the masterful author of your life. You are not the author and the finisher of your life. Okay, so that is when I learned it. Go ahead, just yield. But you have to take risks. You have to do it afraid. As entrepreneurs, scare money don't make money. So there are plenty of times where I have to invest. When you talk about doing events, those events are not cheap. Everybody wants to have a $50 ticket, but it costs $30,000 for the event space. It costs $30,000 for the event space, the food, and all the things, and you want a $50 ticket. That's not the game that we're playing here. Scare money don't make money. We still gonna do it. We still do the things. You always see me put on an event. I pay money for these events. I'll be happy to break even. For me, it's just more so about being obedient. I want to make sure that the Lord is pleased than all the number stuff. I don't care about the number stuff. I want to make sure the Lord is pleased. I want to be obedient. Obviously, you want to have an event and be able to break even or, make a profit so you can do more. But scare money don't make money. I'll put that money out there. Money that I could be using on myself. I could get myself a nice little bag. I could put it back into my business. I could do some things that I would like to do. Go on vacation, that sort of thing. So it's because you have to take a risk. And so when you look at the two stewards that had the 2 and the 5 talents, they took risks. They didn't know what to do. They just knew that they had 5 talents and 2 talents. And at some point, I don't know when, but the master's going to come back. What am I going to tell him? Because I'm sure he didn't just give them the talents and was like, all right, I'll see you in a little while. He was like, all right, make something happen with this. We're here to make something happen with what we got, okay? What my mama used to say, make it enough. Ma'am, you didn't give me anything. You barely gave me anything. You want to go steal? Like, make it enough. What you have is enough. I promise what you have is enough to get started. You have to use what you have. Singing, get to singing. Get to singing. Get on YouTube, make some videos. Get on social media and do some covers. Get to singing. Just share your worship. Writing. When I tell you, I don't know what happened. I went from, I don't call it writer's block because I believe you write when the Lord tells you to, and then you put the pen down when he is not speaking, because I'm not going to say nothing that he don't want me to say, right? But I believe that I wrote a lot of outlines and just pieces, 2 books, and then I had to go through the experience. So the next book that I'm working on is Submission Isn't Kryptonite. Now, when energy is done, we're gonna get that down. But Submission Isn't Kryptonite, when I was working on that, I love that title too. My focus was only on marriage. I was just thinking like, yeah, we need to talk about this, because why is it so hard for women to submit? But also, why is it so hard for men to submit? People don't realize it's a full cycle. The children submit to the mom submits to the husband submits to God. Like, everybody submit to somebody here. Okay, it's full circle submission. I didn't have that. I mean, obviously I had that part, but I didn't have, like, the depth and the experience. Like, John and I have been together 20 years, married 18. So I didn't have all that experience. When I got this idea for the book, maybe 2008, I had Ashlyn. I think it was between having number 2 and number 3. was when I really started like getting the downloads for it. So I'm gonna go with 2010 because yeah, Ashy was here, we're on the way, and then Aubrey was so 2010. It is what 2024, 14 years later. I'm finally ready to write the book. So just get what you can out. You don't have to force it, but at least get what you can out. And I mean, when I tell you solid bones for outline, once I get everything situated with Winergy and we get it published and out there, I'll be ducked off working on that one next. But it's been 14, 15 years in the making. That's going to require a risk. Every book that I write requires a risk. Books are not cheap. Editing isn't cheap. Publishing isn't cheap. Marketing isn't cheap. I was looking at TBN. They were, reaching out to me. 20,000 just to publish and do the things. These things aren't cheap, but guess what? God, He knows. Risk is required. Stewardship means you're gonna take some risk. Guess who's still required to put out some books? Me. God is still requiring that of me. And the thing with the books are your business card. So this one, just a business card. But I got so much more experience since that book. I have so much more to talk about. These planners. Oh yeah, both of them. So this planner, she gone. I maybe got like 6 more of these left. It's evolved. And this, I don't even remember when I made this. Probably like 2017. Well, now she's evolved into this. So the price that I have for this was actually, it cost more to make it than what I was actually going to charge for it. So I had to up the price. But it's so much bigger and it's so much more. Like, it required a risk. I had to take a risk and make this. I had to take a risk and put this out here, okay? So scared money don't make money. When you are a steward, there's a gift that you have. It's going to require you to do something, okay? I just updated my board. I got to do a 10-city tour for this book. Who paying for this? Me, obviously. But, I'm like, all right, guys, so this is the thing you told me to do. You're going to handle that. How many books do I have to buy for that? Where am I going to stay? Like, what are the logistics? You have to think about those things. But stewardship requires taking a risk. Scared money don't make no money. It's not my money anyway. I just have to be obedient, okay? I'm telling you, my obedience to writing these books and doing the things, they open up speaking opportunities. It's going to get me to Paris. I'm going to be eating lunch in Paris, just enjoying myself. It's going to get me to London. It's going to get me to Africa. It's going to get me to all these different mega churches. I got to write the book first. I got to pay for it. It's talent. It's the talent that I got to sow. And at some point, my master's going to be like, I'm back. What'd you do with that gift that I gave you since you was 11? You've been writing since you were 11. Poetry, I'm talking about in high school. I used to have the school, and I was a yearbook editor, and I was dating like the news paper editor. So like writing was my jam. I would have my class coming to me like, where's the next chapter? And I would print out several copies of the chapter. Obviously, they were worldly books, which is why they're not out now. But I was writing, okay? And they're like, where's the next chapter? I need to know what's going to happen next. I would be foolish if I didn't do that for the kingdom. I got to put my work out there. This was a gift, a skill, a talent, and an ability that he gave me. I got to put something out there for the kingdom. I got to. So it requires taking a risk or several. And then let's talk about the last one. Stewardship requires accountability. I know that's like a cuss word for real. People do not like to be told what to do. They don't like to be held accountable. And if you are in the world of the church, the quickest and easiest way to get somebody to shut up and shut them down about disapproving of your decisions and say God said. Because you're not supposed to, you know, talk about my decision if I told you God said it. I have had people leave truth seekers and say, well, thanks for covering me. God said it's time. And I'm like, it's not. It's not. But I don't own you. I can't keep you. I still could pray for you. But okay. Because you just want to go do what you want to do. Go for it. You got to answer for that. However, I know God didn't say that. I know He didn't say that. Also, Truth Seeker doesn't have members. So there's that. But I know He didn't say you didn't. When we start fasting, like consistently and doing all of the things publicly, now it's time for you to go. Got it. But also, you need to have some pruning. Pruning has to take place. Guess what? People gonna leave, and you can't take that personally. I'm a bus. I take people to different destinations. Some people gonna get on at the destination. Some people gonna get off at the destination. It's always my prayer that you are reaching your destiny purpose. Okay, you're on the right destiny path, and you're reaching the purpose that God has for you when you jump on this bus and when you get off. That's it. They'll be back, and I'm letting them back on the bus because that's what it requires. But you're gonna be accountable when you come back on the bus. I need to make sure you're doing what God told you to do. There's so many people that will take a post and be like, "You got to get out there. Let me ordain you." Oh, I'm not. I'm not playing with that. You don't play with God. You will be out here, like, I mean, it's some people out here that are on big platforms. I've seen it, leading people into worship, and it's just a job to them. No, we get to do this. We get to do this. It is an honor and a privilege to do this. And I don't make $1. I never will. I will not be taking money from the church. I will be using my businesses to fund my lifestyle. And, ministry is always going to be for God. And that's just that. It's not a job for me. Would I love to be here full time doing the things? Absolutely, 100%. Then I can, put all of my energy, time, and effort into, doing. Oh, hold on. We about to lose some juice. I can put all my energy, time, and effort into studying more, into the business, into some more outreach stuff, some coaching, that sort of thing. Absolutely, one day that'll happen. But not right now. Right now, I need to touch these people. Apparently, I got to be on site and touch these people. That's just what it is, okay? And that's a level of accountability. So, I want you to just look at Romans chapter 14, verse 12. And it says, "So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God," okay? You can't just make it to heaven on good works alone. So I hate when people say, that was a good person. I'm a good person. Good people go to hell all the time because it's not about what we can do. But I do want you to leave this earth empty. I want you to be able to, when you get there, because everybody's going to heaven, but not everybody stays. I want you to be able to look at the jumbotron of your life and be like, all right, I missed the mark sometimes, but I did it. I was obedient to you, Lord. I did what you asked me to do. I know you sent me on this earth for a purpose. I did that. That box is checked. That is how you get a well done, thy good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. Now I'll let you be rule over many. Okay? But the one that had the one, he was scary. He didn't have a good attitude. He was fearful. He said, "You're a wicked man. You got a wrong perspective if you call him the master wicked. I need you to look at this from a different perspective." Okay? Here's the thing while we wrap up the last point. You got to make sure that you're accountable. So when you're accountable, you got to be prepared. You got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. What I look like if somebody were to call me and say, "I need you to come speak," and I have a sermon prepared. I keep them things ready. I got about 5 of them ready to go. Any church, I can do those. You got to stay ready. I can teach on my book and then have books ready to sell and give away. I can teach you on stewardship and bring these planners. or I could just bring the word. You have to be prepared. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, okay? But here's the thing. None of the servants knew when the master was going to come. They never knew when the master was going to return. So I want you to think of it this way. One of the most precious things that we steward over is sharing God's word, sharing the good news, which is why I'm telling you, it's not too late for you to invite somebody to the fast. It's not too late to forward that email to 7 friends or text them and let them know this is what you're doing. You want to join? Girl, you just asked me to borrow $20 the last 3 pay weeks. Sound like you need to be jumping in on this fast with me because this fast is about finances. I'm just saying. If you can't have honest conversations with your friends, you need to get new friends. And that's on period. I want you to do this. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 17. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me. Don't let that be you. We all have a responsibility to steward over the good news. You should be reading on a consistent basis. Don't let life knock your head between the washer and the dryer and you're not in this Bible. That's crazy. It's an open book test right here. Read that word. I promise it'll help you climb out of every hole that you're in. I sit here reading the word, just Proverbs, just reading a proverb a day will keep the devil at bay. I'm telling you, you need wisdom. Wisdom and wealth go hand in hand. I love a good proverb. Just reading Proverbs and God was giving me all these ideas and this came from prayer time. He was like, yeah, we're going to fast 7 days instead of 3 this time. Like, it was, I want to say it was intense, but I was grateful. Like, okay, God, I see you. But this responsibility is a sacred trust. Like, God is trusting you with these gifts, these skills, these talents and abilities. He's trusting you. Why do you think he was so mad at the person he gave the one talent to? I trusted you. I trusted you with one thing. You couldn't even do that. Just one. You didn't have 2. You didn't have 5. I just trusted you with this one thing. And you went and hid it. He said, you are wicked. You are lazy. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Let me go ahead and go over real quick. I'm not even going to dive into them. I just want to go into 3 things. The lies the enemy tells you about stewarding. Okay? He will lie to you and tell you that you haven't been given anything to steward. Well, I don't have anything. You know, or the widow say, I don't have any money. Well, you got natural gifts. Oftentimes we don't even realize that our influence is a gift. So I just had to make a post and say, thanks y'all, welcome to all my new followers. I can't accept any more friends and I'm not creating another Facebook page. So here's a fan page for you. I'll make sure that you can follow here on this page, or you can, like and follow on the fan page as TPJ the Purpose Doula. I have to post the same content now because I'm capped out. I don't have any more space to add friends, okay? That's influence. That's a promotion. Where she said, congratulations, you've been promoted. You are now God's lead employee. I've been promoted. You have to steward well over the promotion that you have. So if I'm not stewarding well over I'm capped, right? On Facebook, you only have 5,000 friends. Okay, well, I already got more than that. If I'm not stewarding well over that, how am I going to do when I get to 30, 40, 50, 100,000? How do you steward over that? Well, you got to be faithful with what you already have. Because guess what? I started out when I was late to Facebook. I didn't want to come on Facebook when it was just for college students. So I don't think I got on Facebook until maybe 2008. Maybe. Okay. And then I was like declining people. If I didn't know you, sometimes if I knew you and I didn't like you, I wasn't adding you, okay? Was not doing that. But yeah, influence is a gift. That's something to steward over, okay? Your skills, your talents, your abilities, even your positions. So, I was an executive assistant to the vice president of communications. You don't take that lightly. I was seeing stuff and had to operate like the vice president of communications when she was gone. And so I knew that that was a big deal. I knew that that was important. I knew because it was like being a Daniel, being a number two in position. I got to learn so much from that. But even being in that position, I had to steward over that properly because now I got to build relationships with other senior leaders. And not only them, I got to build relationships with other business areas. And so, it was really, really important for me to steward over those things. And so now I know people pretty much in every area at work. And they know my work ethic and how I'm gonna show up. That's not something you take lightly. Okay? Does that mean you'll be perfect all the time? Absolutely not. Only Jesus was perfect. But do your very best still. So don't let the enemy think that you don't have anything. You have something. I'm telling you. I literally just told y'all about all of the 25 digital content products I had to put on my Stan account on my social media handles. It's already ready. 25 digital content pieces. I got so many. You don't even want to see the list of books that I need to write. So don't let the enemy lie to you and allow you to believe that you don't have anything. I promise you do. What you have right now is enough. You might just have some water, some flour, and some oil. You might just have some oil and you need to borrow some flour. It's okay. Get it done. The second lie that the enemy will tell you about stewardship is that you don't have enough to get started. I'm always going to say that. You always have enough to get started. So he'll tell you that you don't have anything to steward and that you don't have enough to get started. Both are lies. He don't do nothing but lie anyway. So if he's bothering you and making you feel not worthy, insecure, or you're struggling with imposter syndrome, chances are you got something in you. You might got the dog in you. You just don't know it yet. Okay. Um, Third, and I'm gonna look this way because I know I'm gonna holler at some of y'all when I say this. The third lie that the enemy will tell you about stewardship. Okay, maybe I should look this way. Okay, I'm gonna look at you, but seriously, don't be mad with me. Be mad with the enemy. He will make you think that you need to hide your talents, like that person that only had the one. He tricked him. The enemy tricked him into thinking he needed to hide his talent. And then the master called him evil and lazy. Well, wicked and lazy. Wicked and slothful. You don't want to be that. Don't let the enemy trick you into thinking you need to hide your talents. I have a talent for I love operations. When I tell you I thrive in operations, you throw an event, I'm probably going to end up working. It's not even my event to work. But because I care enough to make sure that your event goes well, I'm going to jump in and help. I'm going to make sure that the things that you don't realize need to be taken care of are taken care of. And they be looking around like, who is she? And then next thing you know, I'm next to them, handing them a mic, doing the things, because that's just a gift of mine. Don't hide your talents. It's time to be seen. I'm telling y'all this, and if you know me, you know. If I could have a superpower, it would be invisibility. It would be invisibility. I be wanting to have from them kids sometimes too. So I think it would still be invisibility. I'm so sincere. Just so I can have a moment of peace. Just a little quiet. You know, when the house is quiet, I think something is wrong. I'm like, is everybody okay? What's happening? Why is it so quiet? Who's doing something they ain't supposed to be doing? Invisibility for me. Okay. So I don't want you to think that you don't have a gift. You do. I don't want you to think that you don't have enough to get started. You do. You do. Pray and ask God right now what it is you need to do. It's something that you know that you can sell. It's something that you have that you can sell. I gotta go train a church on some social media streaming stuff Saturday. I'm gonna do it though. Do I want to do it? No. I don't. But I'm gonna do it though. So, you can't be talking about, God, I need this money. I'm struggling. I'm trying to figure out how to pay my bills. And these jobs. These jobs ain't paying nothing right now. They don't even want you to work more than one job. And that's okay because you can work a full time job. And I pray that it's a little maintenance job. And then use the couple hours before work and after work to work on your side hustle. And it generate the income that you need to go on vacation and cover the gaps for whatever bills your check is not covering. Because it's rough out here right now. I know it is. Time to dig into that toolbox and get to it. Okay? So that's it. I hope you broke your fast already. I am ready to go and eat something. Because I didn't wake up early in the morning to get something in my tummy before the fast. I chose sleep today. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. She's gonna grab a bite to eat. We are vegetarians, okay? So enjoy this beautiful weather. I pray that you are, looking at nature. Anytime I feel like I don't have, oh my gosh, I go out in nature and I'm like, God, you're so abundant. If you be abundant with nature, I know you're abundant with me. Try and count the grass, the little strands of grass. Try and count all of the leaves on the tree. Try and count all the stars at night. Try and count all the sand. There's no way you could do it. You can't. So God would be abundant in those things that just, are there. You don't think he's intentional with you? You don't think he can do abundant things, miraculous things with you and in you and through you and for you? When I wrote this first book, and I need to put out a new edition, my perspective, I was hurting, and it's just like, Lord, I know you can do it. I know you can. I know who you are. I know what your word says. What will you do for me? I don't know. I've been waiting so long. Will you do it for me? And so I want you to know that he will, but you gotta partner with him, and there's some stuff that you need to do. You need to be obedient in some different areas, and you need to be in your word. And he absolutely will do it for you. He wants to partner with you. But first, you got to be obedient. You got to show him that he can trust you. He's giving you some gifts. It's time to use them. So I'm about to go because I'm hungry and I'm emotional because I love y'all. And I just know and I just believe in my heart that God is going to do the miraculous through you all in this week. You're going to get some witty inventions and ideas. There are going to be some game-changing business strategies that are coming from heaven to, take your finances to the next level, to take your business to the next level, to take your life to the next level. So I can't wait to hear about them. Please don't forget, to comment, ask your questions. We'll have an Instagram post up every day so you can ask questions. I'll answer them anonymously, of course. I love you, and we're gonna do this thing again. I hope the emails are helping. Are the emails helping y'all? It's got the links for the music and key scriptures to focus on. It's quick and easy for you to get the replay links and that sort of thing. Is that helpful to you all? Because, baby, your girl is working, okay? It is a team of one over here. Let me know if this makes sense to do, or should I just go ahead and put my effort somewhere else? What say you people on the line? Let me know. I'm not playing with y'all. These little, they're coming up so quick. I can't see anything. It's like it pops up and then it goes. So I'll check the comments later. I love y'all. Hit me on my head if you need me. We're going to pray ourselves through this, but I believe God is up to doing the miraculous in this season. I love you. I'll see you all. We're going to do this thing again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Bye.